from my main channel over almost 3 years. We don't have a full 3 years. We are just under 100 million in sales.
Dude, that's crazy.
Closed sales, and I have 10 million under contract starting next year already.
In this video, I interview an agent who has closed over $100 million in real estate just from YouTube. He breaks down his whole system from start to end. You are definitely going to want to watch this video all the way through. And if you want to partner with me at eXp or Place and get access to my free YouTube or Instagram courses and mentored by me, schedule a call with me. Let's talk how we can grow your business, and I hope you enjoy this interview. All right, man. So I got my boy Adam here. Adam, you would like hit me up about Instagram, and then the next thing I know, me and you kind of became friends. And then we were talking about YouTube, and then I was like, "Holy crap, this dude is killing it on YouTube!" Because I've been doing YouTube for real estate for a while, man. So like, tell me a little bit about that. Like how long you've been doing it? Like what got you into doing YouTube?
Yeah, Chris. I mean, first off, thanks for having me on here. Obviously, right? So YouTube, quick story, I guess, if that exists with me, was I was a single agent, always pumping out maybe 6 to 8 million. I'm in Tampa, Florida, by the way. And so, everything was great. I was an awesome, realtor, always kind of top of the class, for 6 to 8 million back then when homes were 200,000.
Yeah, definitely.
And then COVID hit and everything pretty much shut down. And, I have 2 young girls, so they were pretty much homeschooled for the first little bit because schools shut down and all that had to happen. And my business stopped because I was always database or sphere of influence, kissing babies and shaking hands,
Yeah,
and
like
so,
because that kind of happened to me because I was having client parties and that got like shot and that was done overnight,
Yeah. So I had to like learn something new, and I paid somebody to teach me Facebook ads. And to me, that was horrible because I was cold calling, and I even talked to somebody in jail. No joke. And so I was like, this is not what I want, like a month later. And then I learned YouTube, right? I am not techie. I would not be on social media if it wasn't for business. And it literally changed my business.
Yeah.
So that's how it led me to it, man.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and don't take this as a knock, but you're definitely like, if someone's like, oh man, this guy's like a master, like when you hit me up about Instagram, I was like, well, this dude had know what he's talking about. Like he's a young dude.
Yeah.
And then you were like asking me questions. I was like, bro, like that's general knowledge, but you definitely like come from a place of like research and like what you're doing. So like the first thing, because I do YouTube, everyone always asks me like, when you got into it, were you like, I need a perfect camera, I need to do this and that, or did you just go out and try it?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously not being from that world, not being a guy that's ever been on camera, even on YouTube, I didn't even have a YouTube account, which is funny. I just said, well, I got to start somewhere. And I'm a big believer in just try new things, believe in yourself, try new things. And so I just jumped on, and I had a GoPro with a green screen behind me.
Nice.
And that's really it. And sometimes I would get out there and kind of do vlog style. But looking back, it's funny because, one of my first videos was like a pros and cons of living in Tampa. And it had over 70,000 views. And I looked at it and it was yellow. Like, I might have been using a lamp to like light my scenery, right?
like right now you look like perfectly like you're shooting a movie or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And even now I'm not exactly sure how I got that, but yes. So to that point, yeah, I think it's just about starting, man. I know so many people have done it with cell phones. At one point I used to hire somebody to do drone footage, right? Because we need B-roll and stuff for some of our videos. And then they were inconsistent. Somebody wouldn't show up, and I said, that's it. Bought a drone. I met somebody in a field and played with it for an hour or two. And I just did the most basic shots, but I got to that point where I was droning myself until eventually I could just hire somebody.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, like I got into the drone thing, and people hit me up all the time. They're like, bro, who does your drone footage? I'm like, it's me, man. Like I became like obsessed with it when I got one. So like you got into it, like you do like a pros and con, like, and you're like, and like, honestly, like Tampa, I want to say is a really competitive YouTube space. So 70,000 views in general is a lot, but so like you get into it, you do like a pros and con, and then like, did you have a game plan? Were you shooting every week, every couple of days?
Yeah. I mean, so yes, game plan for me was, and by the way, I started in 2021.
It's not that long. Yeah.
Right. This is technically, I guess, my 3rd year, but at that time, there was one standout person in Tampa that, I mean, I feel like she was the OG of Tampa. And it's kind of funny. not naming names, but I think she's definitely slowed down. She got out of it, and I think she
Right.
maybe mentioned a comeback, but I got to put the crown on at least for this year. So
There
we're
you
gonna
go.
take
Yeah,
that.
dude. I mean, honestly, like when we met, I searched Tampa and you came up like first, and so like the algorithm definitely picked you up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, my game plan though was I wanted to always be a place of being a resource, right?
Right.
I'm born and raised in Tampa. I've been a realtor now for about 10 years, a little over 10 years. And I just feel like, man, when people come here, they are relocating here, or even if they're here and they're just, hey, I want to buy in and figure out a new neighborhood. They want to know, where are the schools? What are the things to do? What is life like your lifestyle? What about roadways and how to get around? And then what's the vibe like in each area, right? Like some people will say, if I'm a pilot, I need to be within 30 minutes of the airport. Where should I live? Or,
Right.
hey, I want best school zones. Like all these questions, all that data that you collect from just being a realtor, spit it back out on camera because now you're a resource.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
I always kind of just said, let me start, first, building these columns, right, of neighborhoods. So these are videos, right? I'm gonna
Yeah, because
start
like Tampa's a
building.
huge area, right? Yeah. So
Yeah. So it's like, let me build this. Okay, I'm gonna start making videos about neighborhoods so people know about that. Then it might be the vibe here. So that might be living in Tampa, Florida. And then if you're moving here from out of state, because we had a lot of people coming to the area,
right.
was, so here's some things you might need to know moving here. So kind of just bouncing back and forth through all those things. That's where it took me.
Yeah, definitely. Like, how long did it take you before you got like your first call? Because when I did it, it took like I think I went on for like 3 or 4 months, but I was determined I was just going to go no matter what with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say somewhere between about 70 to 90 days. Right after
Yeah.
that, like
Okay.
2 month mark, I kind of had one or two and I was like, oh, that's cool. And where it really hit was when like that first call came in. They're like, oh, you're like a mini celebrity. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe you
Yeah.
answered the phone. And
Yeah.
and it's the best lead you will ever have
Yeah.
is when they call you and say, I've been watching you. You're the best resource. And I can't believe you answered the phone. And I was like, well, that's what we're supposed to do,
Yeah.
right?
That's what
It's
I'm
real
doing,
estate.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it's like, you don't have to convince them to work with you. Where I was, remember with Facebook ads,
Yep.
they were like, you're my guy. By the way, I have an $800,000 budget. Is that okay? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make that happen. So, yeah,
And the other thing
it
is like
just went
what
from
I
there.
found, dude, is like you know this too, is like I feel like people that are into YouTube, like it's mainly like most of my clients are like 20, 30, 40s, like high paying jobs. And then, but like when you're talking like Facebook, Zillow, those people are registering on like a bunch of different sites. And then
Yeah.
it's like when you get the YouTube, it's like more of a warm lead, but you definitely got to be like super consistent. Like, what is like, you think some mistakes that, because I'm sure a ton of people ask you for advice. Like, what are the biggest mistakes you've seen agents make with it?
I think I've seen people that are not being themselves. That's a huge one. I,
Yeah.
I have definitely found. So remember, I told you there was somebody in Tampa that was before me, right? And I was thinking that I was learning from them, and I
Right.
was trying to be a little bit like them or their style. Eventually, I just evolved into my own style, and it was funny. And I didn't realize this until, I'm a little bit more casual, as you can see with the hat and
Yeah. Yeah.
everything.
Definitely.
And I was talking about a beer, like, oh man, I love to go to this place and just chill in the water and in the beach and just have a cold one with my dad. And somebody was like, is that illegal? And I was like, I mean, they don't have somebody checking your red Solo cups at the beach, but sure.
Yeah. Right.
But to that point, I started getting Zoom calls and people were calling me saying, hey, I'm going to move there, by the way. And they would just show up with a beer and
Oh,
I'd
that's
go, okay, hold
crazy,
on.
bro.
And I go
Yeah.
grab a beer. So I noticed that people were calling me that related to me, right?
Yeah.
And the more I started just being myself on camera, I did a market update with my mortgage rep and he's like the vice president of a group here. And we were just having beers because I said, look, interest rates are going up.
Right.
Whenever I have tough conversations with family, we like to break bread. So next best thing, let's have a cold one with you. And we just chatted. So, be yourself and then let it flow. Then you won't be so stiff and always come from a place of being a resource.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, speaking of the celebrity thing, man, I had a weird thing where we had a client party and it wasn't weird. It was kind of funny, but we had two people. I had two sets of different people figure out where it was. And it was a private event and they came because they wanted pictures with me. Like they were like, we're big fans of yours. Like I was like, what the heck? And I was like, you guys want to just join the party? Like, oh, no. Like we're huge like YouTube watchers of you and we just wanted to come meet you in person. And I was like, This is like crazy. I'm like a mini celebrity in my market. I'm sure you've like run into that, like if you're out or something. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So like one thing too, did you get like caught in the minutia of like, I got to have the right thumbnail, I've got to have the right editor, I've got to like I feel like everyone's always getting ready to get ready when it's with YouTube, or did you just like do it?
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question. So yeah, I mean, remember I started with a GoPro, so it was just about just shooting it. And I did call around. I found a local editor, but then I got the first curveball, which was like maybe 15 videos in. He had to take a job in Utah, and I was like, oh shit. And then I was like,
you're like, I'm
literally,
screwed.
yeah, because my whole game plan was be consistent, right? Shoot a video every week.
Right.
Every week. And I haven't missed a week in 3 years. Actually, one
That's
week, but
awesome.
I chose to miss it because I was on like a 3-week vacation. And when I got back, I was like, no, I'm not just going to throw something to throw something. I'll just take 1 week off. It's not going to crumble my channel. But consistency, that's the key right there, right? So I ended up going to the Philippines, man. I found somebody that they referred me to, a Philippines editor. They did great. I would say over the life of 3 years, I've had 3 to 4 editors just trying out different things. And so you could see my quality change, or my flow, maybe I should say that the flow changed because different editors will do different things. What's funny is that initial editor that ended up taking off to Utah and getting a job, he is my current editor now. He moved back, and I was like, you need to give me a 1-year agreement minimum.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Like, you're not going to run away from it. Like, what have you found? Like, I guess because obviously the market's shifting. Like, is there a week where like how many leads are you like, this is a good week? And then are there times when you're like, man, I went a month without a call? How does it usually look for you?
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about current day?
Yeah. Because like, or even like from like maybe like when it was like hot to like now, like what does that usually look like?
Yeah, so at the beginning, like I said, it kind of picked up quickly, to be fair. I mean, I think I started at a really cool time a really rough time when COVID was kind of like all in the mix. Everybody was watching. And it just kind of like, it was almost overload, like too much.
Right.
Now it's settled in, and it is a little bit seasonal, or it will react
100%.
to the market. So I feel like if interest rates hit 8%, well, my calls are probably, people are not going to be like, oh my God, we got to buy now.
Yeah.
But I can promise you, as interest rates start to go down, my phone is going to blow up like if it was COVID again.
Right.
So current day, like today, I think I had 3 calls, 2 emails, and like a text message.
That's awesome, dude.
I put it this way. When I started, because I was taught this, to do Zoom calls with everybody that was coming in.
Right.
And I ended up spending 15, 20 minutes with each person. But then, and I would do them, I'd block my day Tuesdays and Thursdays for Zoom calls.
Yeah.
But I was having like maybe 5 to 7 Zoom calls every Tuesday and Thursday. So that's 10 to 14 leads a week.
Wow.
And it was overwhelming. It'd waste 2 of my days of my week. So I had to just go back to old school real estate and just jump on the phone.
Be on the phone with them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I found like when I started saying like text me in my thing, my videos, a lot of people like randomly text me, and I'm like, everybody. And I started to change it. And going back to what you were saying is like a lot of things I think agents get stuck on is they're like, I need this video guy. And what I found was like people in the real estate industry actually aren't the best people to get to do your videos and stuff because they want to make the house look sexy. And it's like, dude, people don't care. They want to know about the area. I mean, is that kind of what you've seen too?
Yeah. So I know we were talking, prior to this or just other times about my 2 strategies, right? I have 2 channels. So I have a living in Tampa, Florida channel, which is kind of in the name. It's all about living here, right? That's the one we've been talking about so far, which is neighborhoods, things to do. Well, not really too much things to do, but you got to mix it in.
Yeah.
I like to focus real estate. I don't want to do things to do because then the algorithm sends it to the wrong people.
Right, 100%.
But it's neighborhoods. What's the vibe living in Tampa or moving to Tampa, right? Then I created a newer channel that is focused just on new construction home tours.
Right.
And so kind of 2 different things there. But man, I lost my thought. What was that question?
Well, yeah, I guess the question would be like, have you found like, so like you got your normal area tours, and then like you said, you're doing the new construction. Have you found people care about like the houses, or they only care about the area?
Yeah, sorry, that was the question. So on my main channel, right, they actually like me. They like the personality. They like the stories because my stories is what's describing the area or the vibe or the, it's family oriented and my kids like to do this. And, you know, when I tell that story, they feel it. On the other hand, I had to learn this on the new construction channel. They want to see the model of the home. They don't want me on the camera.
They could care less,
yeah, when I did a story on that, you could just see the analytics. You read the data on the back end of YouTube. people were just jumping off the channel. So as soon as I started focusing more on the house than me, the retention just skyrocketed.
Yeah. So have you found like the new construction ones worth doing? Are you going to keep doing it? Are you going to stop doing it? What do you think on that channel?
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm actually testing it in a few markets. I was running that channel simultaneously with another guy in Vegas.
Yeah.
That we both just kind of work together on some of these things. It's really good that, as you know, some of these social media, YouTube and Instagram and all that, as I reached out to you, sometimes we collaborate and share ideas to get better, right?
Yeah.
So we opened up 2 brand new channels, shooting it 2 different ways. He shoots it with a cell phone and a gimbal, and I actually have a videographer. What I thought was actually very interesting was that I'm shooting professional with a videographer on the other side of it. He's just doing some long-winded, walk through with a gimbal, kind of your standard YouTube tour. And in the first 30 days, I got 4 leads and he got 6. And at the end of 2 months, I had 12 leads. He had like 15. And I laugh because I tell him all the time, I'm like, man, I have a videographer. I'm over here putting effort into staging stuff.
You've got like a video, it's like you're walking on shooting Jurassic Park. You've got like a video. You were telling me you've got like a teleprompter, a video guy, where this dude just walking around with a gimbal. It's like, I'm sure like me and you were both at EXP, and you were telling me like, if someone reached out to you, you would definitely help them with YouTube, with your EXP and all that. But the thing is, like, Suman Kim, he's like #1 individual agent EXP. Like, he just does new construction, and I've watched some of his videos, and I'm like, man, like, he walks around with a cell phone literally. But like, I tried it in my market, and what I found was people really didn't care about the house. And even like some of my like avid YouTube viewers they didn't live around here, were like, bro, we don't care about houses. Like, we like seeing you, we like seeing the area. But of course, like, we don't have really crazy looking houses like you would have in Tampa or Malibu or whatever,
Yeah. So it's funny. There's a guy in Tampa that's in Suman's downline. I chatted with him. He does his videos exactly like Suman. Like, he kind of, I don't want to say he coached him because I don't know exactly how far that went, but I'm pretty sure he modeled it off after his channel, and it doesn't work here.
Yeah.
Or it hasn't worked here. Let's put it that way.
100%. Yeah. Like, it didn't really work. And honestly, Texas, I've seen a lot of new construction stuff pop up, but honestly, the amount of leads you're getting is pretty good. I mean, especially with the state of the market, so like, how much have you think you've sold like on YouTube, like even like in the good year or whatever, in a good market, like how much did you sell from it?
Yeah. So, my new construction, like new home channel, that one we started from brand new. So there's always a ramp up period, right? Within a YouTube channel. I mean, some people strike lightning, but whatever, lightning strikes and it takes off in the beginning, but ramp up period. I do have a handful of active clients from that channel. Yeah. So let's not count that for the moment, but that will, my expectations are that will bring in like sold business. From my main channel over almost 3 years, we don't have a full 3 years. We are just under 100 million in sales.
Dude, that's crazy.
Closed sales, and I have 10 million under contract starting next year already. And we're not there yet.
That's insane, man. That's really good for you, bro. So, I mean, it's like a couple million commissions. I will say, like, with you, like, you're definitely passionate about it, because every time I talk to you, me and you end up talking for like an hour, because we both, I feel like, and you would probably know this too, like, I do feel like some people, when they want to get into YouTube, they're like, who can I hire? And I'm like, look, you could definitely hire someone, but you've got to be super passionate about YouTube. I know a lot of like non-big YouTubers. Like, I know a guy that edits for David Dobrik, and he's like, Chris, these guys are filming like 7 days a week, bro. And I'm like, damn, like, you've got to be passionate about it. That's the number one thing I'll say about YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because even just chatting with you about Instagram, you're like, hey man, you got to post 1-2 a day and this and that. And I was like, no problem. And you're just kind of like, are you sure? And I'm like, no problem. And I'm just thinking, it's already in my habits. So you got to form those habits and commit to it. But here's one thing I'll say real quick about the YouTube. I just said 100 million. That's a pretty big number to just throw out. But the interesting thing is I didn't stop believing in the system and everything I was doing. Year one was only like 7 to 8 million. Right. And then it just went whoop and it blew up, and it was like 28 million closed, plus like rolling in with like another 6 to 8 million the next year. And then this year we pushed over that 40 million mark, plus 10 million for next year. So, and I say next year because new construction's in that, but it wasn't like it was like 100 million done. it
Yeah,
was
dude.
a lot of work. You're going to find things that you tweak and there's ups and downs, but it's
Yeah, dude,
still
it's
growing.
like,
And by the way, we're in a worse market than we were in 2 years ago.
yeah. The thing I heard a really good interview with James Clear, the guy who wrote Atomic Habits. And he was
Yep.
saying that he will only do podcasts and YouTube now, like interviews. And the person was like, why? And he was like, because it's going to be out there forever. And he's like, if I'm on national TV or the radio, like it's on there once. That's the good thing. It's
Yeah.
like you said, when the market shifts, like you're going to have all this data out there already for YouTube. And like Google owns YouTube, they're not going anywhere. They're
Nope.
just making it bigger and bigger. So like, dude, I guess like if the number one thing like you could tell someone that was like, I'm gonna get into YouTube and they've got like the passion, like what would you say just to that?
Yeah, man. I would say stay consistent. You got to find consistency. Really do your research before you start. Now there's a bunch of different people teaching it out there,
Yeah,
and find out your groove. I don't think there's only one way to do YouTube, right? I
right.
think there's multiple different ways to do it that's successful, but find your groove, stick to it, and be consistent. The other thing, and you actually just touched on it a minute ago, was when you're formulating this stuff, this content, think evergreen. Evergreen
Yeah,
is content that will be around for a while. So if you shoot a video on a community, that community is not going to like fold in a year, right?
right.
However, if you do a market update, that's pretty much old news in 2 months. So
Yep.
the more, and I'm not saying don't ever do a market update, but just 90+% make it evergreen content, not hamster wheel content, which means if the hamster stops running, then the leads stop coming. So
Yeah.
build it, and then eventually that snowball compounding effect will happen with your evergreen content.
Yeah, I think a mistake. That's really good advice. But like, and then you can do it either way. Like you can go out in the field with your phone, or like I do a
Yeah.
lot behind my desk. Obviously, you do. I switch it up. But like, Ken Pozek's a good friend of mine. You said Ken too, and he does like 250 million
Yep.
or something off of YouTube. And he was telling me, one thing that me and him noticed is a lot of agents went to what we call fear porn, and they're
Okay.
like, the sky's falling, just to get
Yeah.
people to watch. And we're like, that's not a good strategy. Like, yeah, you're gonna draw in like people that are into that like fear mongering. And it's like
Yeah.
you're not gonna get business, it's not gonna stick around, like, and it's only like just of the moment,
Yeah.
and so like you said, yeah, I feel like the same way, man. It's like you got to be consistent, like look for what people want. Like if I was going to move to Tampa, honestly, the first thing I would do is I'd jump on YouTube and be like, and I'd probably end up on your channel. Then I'd be like, this dude knows what he's talking about. Then I eventually would call you. It's like I think it's definitely changing. For sure. And like you've got a
Oh, yeah.
video guy now, so like that's not. I guess would you recommend someone get a video guy or just start on their own first?
I would start on your own first because, like you said, everything we're doing is organic. So if you see
Yeah.
growth, and I never look at somebody else's channel and try to compare, because different markets, different cities,
Yeah.
and you really don't know the back end of social media. Some people could look like they have inflated numbers,
Yeah.
but they're running ads or whatever, right? Everything I've done is 100% organic.
same
I've
with
never
me,
ran an ad. The other thing is, I would just stay consistent. I mean, I would just get into it. You got to start and stay consistent. I wouldn't go and buy a videographer. I got there like this year. I didn't do it. I never had a videographer. He was my editor. Now he's my editor / videographer. And I didn't want him to leave, so I hired him full time and built him into
like
my
as your
salaries.
staff. Yeah, dude. Just real quick, funny story before we end is my video. I did it on my own. Then I could afford a video guy, and then and this happened to someone else I know really well. And the guy, like within like a couple months, was like, "Dude, your success is because of me." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? Like I'm out here researching. I'm like the one telling you what to shoot. Like I'm doing the scenes." And he was like, "No, dude, like he literally was like, I got you now. Like it's up to me, like when we shoot, and I'm gonna work with other realtors." And I was like, "Bro, it's 100% me, man. Like it's not you." I was like, you do a good job with the camera, but." And then he was like not showing up and things like that. And like you said, I was like, dude, I haven't put out content in 2 weeks. And then I finally like had to go get a new guy, and it took me like 3 months to find someone. And then this guy, like I made him do a contract and everything. But the other guy, he came back. He literally did come back. And he was like, "Hey, bro, like I made a mistake." And he's like, "Can we work together again?" And I was like, "Dude, no, man, that was a terrible spot you put me in." So yeah, that's what I would say when you're going to look for people is, especially like in the video industry, like they get really like into shots and cinematography, and it can be a nightmare. So you got to know what you're doing.
And to be fair, put it this way, I staged a video so much to where like I was trying to give really rich B-roll. We have like a trolley system here down in our downtown. And I was like, and saying something about the trolley and then extra B-roll of me getting on the trolley. And then, staging this thing to where it was a full day, maybe a day and a half of just straight shooting. And maybe the title, I don't know. It just didn't line up. That video didn't make it. It was maybe, for me, it was like 2,000 views, right? And then I shot this one that was like, guess the price of this house. And it was just 3 quick home tours. And I was like, is it higher or lower than this house? Leave it in the comments, right? Something just very simple. Yeah. And my editor was even like, man, I don't have a lot of, like, it's just.
He's like, dude, this sucks. Yeah.
He's like, we're on a tight deadline. Like, I was like, just get it out, because this is one that it's like, this will be a raw video, 35,000 views, no problem, and tons of calls off. And I'm just like, there you go.
Dude, that's
when you have it, shoot it. When you don't have that time, it's about what you're saying and the information you're giving them.
Yeah, dude. One of the most, we did one for a builder, which is really rare for us in this area. And it was a luxury condo in Arlington, Virginia, which several $1 million. You look out and you literally saw the Capitol, the White House. And I was like, this is going to kill it. And dude, we had like 300 views on this thing. And then I did one where I literally walked around Arlington, Virginia. And I was like, this is what I think about Arlington. This spot's cool. And that one has got me more calls than anything. And I'm like, what the hell? So.
And one last thing to add to that, because I know you're trying to wrap it up. There's a realtor, not even with EXP, not in Tampa. It's like Sarasota, that I talked to him just because, again, sometimes we collab with other people. And his videos, man, were like 500 views, 700 views. Yeah. Like his channel, and he's been doing this as long as I have, but his channel's, nowhere near like probably even half of mine. But yet the guy crushed it, man. He sold 21 million off of the channel. And so sometimes, again, it's not off of views. I would never get discouraged off of looking at somebody else's channel. That's what
dude, like 100% mine, honestly. Like I have videos with 300 or 400 views that I've sold like 5 or 6 houses off of. And and I have a couple like that. And people like, I've had other people in the community be like, your channel isn't big as so-and-so's. And I'm like, it's all right. Like a lot of people call me off mine, but people tell me they do connect with me. But like I said, the same with you, as I'm oddly obsessed with it, So dude, like how can we help you out? Like, I know you're in Tampa, so if we ever have a referral, obviously, then you're part of like EXP. So obviously people can hit you up and you'll help them out with this as well. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people move down here. Obviously, Tampa's a fun destination, fun, growing city, good place to live. So if anybody's ever moving to Tampa, obviously, reach out.
Yeah, we have a lot of people from the DC area that move down there. So I'll definitely do that, bro. I appreciate your time, man.
Likewise, brother. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. See you.